The thing is, it's going over the lava fall, right? And then after all of that, it ends because Obi-Wan's like 5 feet higher on a hill. Like after all of that, like all these crazy flips and things we've seen them do, and that's how it ends.
Welcome, foolish mortals, to the Grim Grinning Dads, the show where 3 Disney-obsessed dads share travel tips, hot takes, and a whole lot more. First off, I want to say, if you would like, please subscribe, ring the bell, follow, comment, listen on any and all the podcast platforms. You can search us, the Grim Grinning Dads. Of course, my name is Caleb, joined, as always, Tyler, Charlie, they're in here too. And we're going to kind of do something a little ambitious tonight. Probably the most ambitious thing that we've ever done on the show. And I'm going to even say it's perhaps a little foolish, because across this episode and the next 2 episodes, 3 episodes, we are going to take on every theatrical Star Wars movie. That's 11 of them. And we're going to rank them against each other. This works a little differently than what we've done before with like our Marvel movie. If you didn't see that one, go back, watch that one. But we're going to start with an empty list. Nobody knows where anybody else has these movies. I haven't seen Tyler's. Charlie hasn't seen any. Like, we don't know where everybody else is going to put them. We have ideas. But we're just going to go in order, starting with episode 1 all the way to episode 9, with Solo and Rogue One in their respective places. And we're going to talk the movie, and we're going to put them on the stack 11-1. And yeah. Of course, these are our opinions. You are welcome to disagree with us. I know we're going to disagree with each other on several of them. But by the end of this, each of us will have our own complete list of our Star Wars movies. So as we begin, we're going to start where we always should, the beginning. Not the beginning of the franchise, but the beginning of the Skywalker saga, which is episode 1. Charlie, I'm going to throw it to you. We're going to talk Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace. Let's talk about the context of that movie, right? For me personally, Charlie, I'm just going to lead you off. The only thing that I love about that movie is the pod racing and the battle at the end.
Okay. Being somebody that's in their 40s at this point, who had grown up with Star Wars, not that either one of you didn't grow up with Star Wars, but like I grew up with it to the point where, you know, that was the movie that was always on in the background. And when they started showing the trilogy, the original trilogy on like TNT at Christmas time, it was always like the best time of the year, because it was my favorite thing to be able to do. So episode 1, having waited for years and years and having gone to whatever movie, and I don't remember what movie it was that George Lucas said he was going to attach the trailer to. I did not give a crap about whatever movie it was I was going to see, but the trailer at the beginning was almost life-changing. I mean, I might have teared up a little bit. Just like, it was like, we're getting more Star Wars. So going to see that movie, I was very excited and very hopeful that we were going to get something amazing. And I came out of that movie thinking that movie was amazing. Now,
which one? That episode 1?
Episode 1.
Okay.
Yeah. Now, I oftentimes will go to a movie, come out of it, and think it was amazing, and then revisit it, which I have done at this point, and realize that wasn't the case. Episode 1 did a lot of things. It used all the technology that was available to make all the different CG characters, for good or for bad. It introduced us to a lovable little scamp named Jar Jar Binks.
He was lovable.
And made a lot of us very angry. And some of us are so angry that they've decided to rewrite history and talk about the fact that they think that Jar Jar might have been a Sith Lord, because of how amazing he was able to do all of the different things and never died. Just he was able to do all sorts of crazy stuff. I don't know. But episode 1 for me was a movie that I saw 3 times that first weekend that it opened, because I was insane. And it was something at that time, being that age, I was able to do that. And I enjoyed it for what it was. And I think that there were some very cool moments. I think getting Darth Maul, even though his character was underdeveloped and had like 2 lines in the entire movie, and then he ended up getting cut in half. I think all of that was kind of a bummer, but we did get an amazing pod racing, which was really fun, and that battle at the end, did kind of showcase some of the talents that Anakin would grow to, kind of perfect as he grew into his adulthood. But there's a lot of things to talk about in that movie that are not amazing. So let's kick it to Tyler and have him kind of give his little rundown of how this went for him.
Yeah, I mean, my big thing with episode 1 is that it's almost pointless in the larger story because you don't get a lot of like major plot points. Like you could have somebody start at episode 2 and they do enough to kind of explain with context clues what's going on. So it kind of renders most of episode 1 a waste of time. But we're not wasting our time talking about it. We're going to dissect it a little bit. But my biggest talking points about this movie, it really shows that the Jedi Order was wildly ineffective. They seem confused by everything. They don't sense anything, despite how obvious it may seem. They just seem to kind of wing it. Qui-Gon is like a rogue cop that basically goes against the council's advice and kidnaps a child because like force vibes are good, I guess. Like
Midichlorians.
Right.
Yeah, the
talk about
midichlorians.
something that we don't really ever bring up again. And then we eventually we'll talk about the Mandalorian because they are in there. They don't say the word, but they do say M count. So
Right.
they're around.
That's true.
But if we're going to talk about Darth Maul, I want to keep it in the context of just this movie because, of course, he goes on to have a much larger story in the animated series, which is amazing. But in this movie, he has no motivation, almost no dialogue, and he's just a cool-looking guy with a double-bladed lightsaber.
He's got horns, and he's red and black. I mean,
Yeah.
come on. Well, I have a book. I have a special edition book of episode 1. Like they released it as a an actual
the
written
novelization.
book. Yeah,
with
I have
him on
that.
the cover. Yeah, I have that too.
That's super cool.
Let me ask you guys this:
Yep.
Who's the main character of this movie?
Anakin.
You don't meet him until almost 50 minutes into the
think
movie.
he
How can he
is.
be the main character?
But he
And
is.
the
I
plot
think
doesn't.
I think it's Obi-Wan.
Everything is happening around him. He is not affecting the plot in almost any way. So I don't think it can be Anakin. I don't think it can be Obi-Wan because he's literally out of the story in large chunks. Like the whole leaving the ship to go into town where they meet Anakin, Obi-Wan's just left behind. He's not part of this. So he's not a main character. Qui-Gon, who is basically just an inanimate object in this. Like, he has no personality other than, like, I'm going to do the opposite of what the council says.
Jar
and,
Jar.
like, I don't know. So Jar Jar's the main character.
Jar Jar's the main
I rest
character,
my
yeah.
case where this movie belongs. Yeah, I mean, he feels like he wandered in from a whole different franchise and just nobody said anything. It's wild.
You know it's bad when like
They're
George...
like, how do we get the Muppets involved? Oh yeah.
Well, and then I don't know if you guys have ever seen. So there's like a behind the scenes. I don't know if it was on like the DVD or the Blu-ray or whatever, but they're in the screening room after they finish the first screening of episode 1, and it stops, and then everyone looks at George Lucas, and he's like, I may have gone too far in some places, but you can't really take anything out now because everything leads to the next thing. There are 5 different plot points going on in the last act of the movie.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And like, how can anybody expect to follow? Like, it's just crazy. And talk about shifts in tone, because you have what should be like this serious, emotional lightsaber duel. I don't know how emotional it really is, but that's what they're going for, to this comical fight with the Gungans, to Anakin accidentally flying into the control ship. And it's just like these crazy shifts in tone. And like, I don't really care about any of these characters or what's happening. I don't know. It's just a big mess. But yeah, I think the biggest flaw, to sum it all up, is that none of it really mattered in the context of the larger story. Therefore, if I was recommending how to watch the series, if we go back to my machete order, you don't need episode 1.
Yeah, but pod racing and Duel of Fates. So
okay, then just watch a supercut of Duel of Fates.
Watch the pod racing and Duel of Fates. Yeah, yep. I agree. Like, there's so much in that movie that I just don't think we need. Like, obviously, it's cool to see like where Anakin comes from, and like watch him progress. Like, that's cool. That's what the whole series is about. Even the sequel trilogy. As much as people don't want to admit it, it's true. It's one of those things, like, I don't know why that movie exists. I just don't know why. It's cool for the nostalgia. Like, that's what I love about it, the nostalgia. But that leads us into another movie.
Well, do we want to sort of talk about roughly where we have this?
Nope.
In our ranking? No,
we're gonna go right to the next one, and we're gonna stack the next one.
It's low.
Well, yeah, but we're gonna stack the next one on top of or below episode 1. Right?
Okay, got it. Okay,
so we're going into episode 2, Attack of the Clones, which I think is the wrong title. But I just, episode 2, man, I don't really enjoy this movie outside of the cool again fight scene that was kind of a horrible thing. But Charlie, I want your opinions on episode 2.
I don't like sand.
It's cool.
Why, Charlie?
I think it's because I'm just a simple man trying to make my way in the universe.
That would have been a better line.
Yeah, it would have been a better line. I mean, I don't know, man. It's really, I watched this movie a couple weeks ago, and I'm having a hard time remembering a lot of the stuff that happened in it.
That's fair.
I literally watched it a couple weeks ago. I was sitting there paying attention, taking notes, doing my thing, and I still am going, okay, what is it that happened? Oh, they were trying to track down somebody that was trying to kill Padme. How old's Padme now? Like 16, 17?
No, I mean, she's like, 24.
Yeah.
Oh, she's now 24. Okay.
And he's 19.
So, Anakin's 19. Good God. What a messy thing that is, too, by the way. The fact that they were 9 and 14, and he was like, hey, how you doing? Like, he's literally, how you doing in her, the whole, like, in the whole movie. He's like, I will find you again. It's like, this is a 9-year-old saying this to a 14-year-old. Like,
as the kids these
My
days
kid's
would
11.
say.
There's no way he's saying that.
Yeah, as kids these days would say, he had Riz.
6'7".
No,
he didn't.
He did not.
He was trying to Riz. That's what he was.
He had force Riz.
He forced the Riz. Anyway, I have a really hard time. This movie was not great. There were some cool scenes. Again, I think it felt victim to the George trying to do too much with CG. You feel the worlds, for all he was trying to make them feel like they were lived in, and there was a lot of stuff going on. Nothing felt like anything was really happening, for the most part. And you do get Jango Fett, it's interesting to know that he was a clone and all of that stuff, but then they just like throw
Jango
Boba in there. No, he was the original.
Yeah.
And then Boba was the clone that he kept as his son, and it's just like,
because that's not weird or creepy at all.
No,
that
was his agreement. That was his agreement. Was to keep one of the clones of himself as part of his fee. Like, what the hell? I don't understand. So there's just so much to not like about this movie. And again, it's just not a memorable movie. Even, again, I saw it a couple weeks ago. I remember Count Dooku. He's creepy. Jango Fett, obviously those scenes. Is this the one where he says hello there? I'm not. I don't really. I can't even really tell you if that was where he says hello there. I think that's in 3, right?
That's in 3.
Yeah. So for the first time, he says hello there in 3, and then it's just like, okay.
Then it's just his thing forever.
Yeah. Yeah. Forever. He says it all the time. So yeah, I have a hard time with this movie. It really, I wanted it to be good, just like episode 1. I was hoping that he would take some of what he screwed up in episode 1, figure it out for episode 2, and kind of make some improvements. He didn't do that. I think feels like he wrote all 3 of them together and then couldn't pivot at all at that point. Kind of like what you said, Tyler, about when he was in the screening room and he was like, I can't. Well, it looks like I went too far in some places, and this is another example of what did we do for 2 hours? Yeah. Well, at the risk of rambling for another 5 minutes, I'm gonna let Tyler go with his or whoever wants to go next.
Well, I will say real quick, just on the end, it's a little bit less complex in the last act than Phantom Menace, but that's not saying a lot. And when all of those parts are still bad. Yeah. So, okay, here's, I just have a few points to run down. Anakin and Padme have what I would call negative chemistry.
Yes.
And I don't think it's either actor's fault because we've seen them in other things. Especially Natalie Portman has been great in a lot of different things, which leads me to believe it's the writing and directing. And it's probably not helped by acting almost entirely against a blue screen. And you have nothing real to react to whatsoever. But anyway, so they have negative chemistry. Their conversations feel like a hostage situation. It's kind of crazy.
It's fair.
Anakin admits to mass murder, and Padme reacts like he said something just mildly awkward.
Was it that
Obi-Wan
though?
Is that the meme though? Like when they're
it's
like
kind of. I mean, he slaughtered a whole village of people. So yeah.
No, I mean, is that the meme that people use all the time? The one where it's like where he says something and then she goes, "You said this, right?" And then it looks back at his face.
Oh, that's when they're like sitting
right.
in the meadow, and he's talking about like openly like being a fascist, and he's like, well, if it works, it's like, oh boy, that's not a red flag at all.
No.
Also, my other note, Obi-Wan is in a different movie that may be a better movie, but it's not working in this movie. He's also kind of an idiot because like he accidentally stumbles upon a clone army commissioned by a dead Jedi that is based on a known assassin who was trying to kill the senator, and reports this to no one with any authority to do anything about it. Like, what?
Yeah.
And then like the last act, like I know we touched on it a little bit, but the arena scene just feels like a bunch of kids playing in the backyard that just threw all their toys together. It's just chaos.
It's cool though.
Yeah, not really. Like, I mean, it's just a giant CG mess. We don't care about any of the characters that are in there.
For sure.
So like, there's no emotional stakes to it. It's just, an excuse to hire a whole fleet of, digital artists to, I'm glad they got paid, but it just didn't work.
Arguably they shouldn't have.
Right.
Yeah.
So yeah, this movie, as far as where it stacks for me, it's below Phantom Menace.
It's interesting.
And maybe that's all I'll say for now.
I mean, so I really enjoy the prequel trilogy as a whole. Like that's what I grew up on. It's my favorite of the 3 trilogies, the trilogy of trilogies. Only because of the only because of the nostalgia of it. That's what I grew up on. But
this Casey's Corner hot dog.
Oh my goodness, stop it. But like I agree, Annie is very crybaby. Listen. Listen. Oh, no. Like I get Annie whines a lot, but also like you have to think about where he's coming from, right? Like he is different from the other Jedi because he got to grow up outside of the Jedi Order, right? Like that's even a thing in the first movie. Like I'll just bounce back to that. Like when Qui-Gon brings him before the council, they're like, "Yep, he's too old," and Qui-Gon's like, "Too bad, I'll train him myself." He's trying to figure out where the balance between his emotions that he was allowed to feel for so long and now he can't feel anymore, right? Like he's got to, maybe that's another reason why the Jedi Order sucks, is because like they're like, suppress your feelings and explore them and forget about them. It's weird.
Yeah, don't be attached to anything because that's normal.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, exactly.
So like there's all of that, and he never got to fully grow up. He just got, his life just completely upended itself and is now inside out. So like I understand why he's a bit of a whiny little kid, but like he's a little over whiny. Like you need to like the whole sand scene that takes place is a little much. And I do think it's really funny how like Natalie Portman's like costume at the very end completely changes. Like when she gets scratched on the back and it was just like the cuts on her back, and then like you cut to the next scene and it's like a crop top and you're like, what? Where'd the front of that go? Like there's inconsistencies like that. Dooku's cool. I like Dooku. Like that was a cool.
If we knew anything about him or cared.
Fair, absolutely. But it's still cool. Like that's the thing about the prequel trilogy, I think, is like it's not supposed to really tell a story. It's just supposed to be cool. I'm not saying that that's the right thing. I don't think that's the right thing. I'm just saying that's what it was. It was just really cool to be. And I think
here's a bad description of Padme. A teenage fashion influencer who treats the Senate floor like a runway, changing her outfit every 45 seconds. She falls in love with a moody monk who hates sand, ignores the massive red flag when he confesses to mass murder on their second date, and eventually dies simply because she was too sad to keep living. Spoilers for episode 3.
But yeah, I mean, episode 2 does go below episode 1. What about you, Charlie?
Yeah, absolutely. Yep. Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to say where it is, but it's definitely...
It's below 1?
Not in any... Yeah, it's below 1 for sure.
Cool.
Definitely below 1.
All right. Let's go episode...
I had I had a really hard time with this one. But episode 3... Okay.
This one I have a lot to say on.
Yeah. I'm going to try to keep mine brief. I think that episode 3 was very important. I think that there are some things that just don't make any sense to me. Like these trained star monks have no ability to actually sense anything in the Force. Like anything.
Right.
Anything. They're all just like, la 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 la, execute Order 66. And then they're just like, oh, they just all die. like what the hell is happening? I don't understand any of that because like the people are able to sense other people. Like they can definitely sense disturbances in the Force. Like that, it's something they use all the time. So it makes no sense to me. Execute Order 66 is a awesome scene. The way that all plays out, very, very, very cool. The way that they go back and forth. Again, I don't think it makes sense. That all of them, except for Yoda, like really, Yoda's the only one. Yes, Yoda's super powerful. Absolutely. Don't get me wrong. But all of the rest of them were unable to sense anything bad about to happen because it just seems unlikely. You do have some pretty iconic lines. Hello there is definitely one of those. Tyler does it better than me.
Hello there.
Thank you. And then you have General Kenobi as well with his thing. And then, but there's just, again, just some like very disjointed things, stuff that doesn't make sense to me. Anakin just going, well, I guess that's happening. Like, cool. All right, guess I'm gonna murder a shit ton of people now. Right. Like, sorry, kids, we're using swears in this episode. Just for that one, we'll tone it down. But like, it's just so messy. Like that he was just like, yeah, I guess this is happening now. Oops, like he goes in fully ready to arrest Sidious, and then all of us like. Realizes that he's wrong, that Sidious is wrong and on the wrong side of things, watches him murder what's his name?
Mace Windu.
Can't remember his. Yep, Mace Windu watches him murder Mace Windu, and then he's like, "Well, I guess I should go murder a bunch of kids."
I mean, he kind of helps him murder Mace Windu.
He does. Yep. It's just such a mess. It's just such a mess of a plot line, and sure, it advances things to the point where we land in episode 4, or even in Rogue One.
Mm-hmm.
And even, I guess, even in Solo, where there's some stuff happening. Yep. And Andor. Yep. It gives us
better
all of that
things
stuff.
than this movie. All of them.
All better things in this movie, including Solo. So yeah, I don't know, man. I think there's one more cool moment to mention, and it's seeing the power that Vader, once he becomes Vader, has once he realizes that his, I guess, wife at this point died, and that he's the one who killed her, which is weird. And then the power of him standing up in his full Darth Vader outfit, and the sound and all of that stuff is just, that's pretty cool. Don't get me wrong, that was pretty fun. But I would put this I would put it above episode 2, and probably below episode 1.
Interesting.
Wow. Okay.
Yep. And only there's some very specific reasons. Like, again, I really harken back to nostalgia stuff. I kind of, like Caleb was saying, and the way that episode 1 hit for me, it was that specific time of my life. There were, I hadn't fully embraced my inner nerd yet. So it was one of those things where I was like, okay, this is something that I'm okay with seeing 3 times this weekend, even though none of my friends were into that whatsoever. But I went by myself once, maybe another time I went with other people, but that for me is why episode 1 would be ahead of this one.
Interesting. All right, Tyler.
Yep.
Let's get your thoughts.
I'm reeling. This is above, or episode 1's above this. That's,
I know.
like,
I can't figure that out, but okay.
Yeah, it's okay. That's fine. Hey, we have different opinions.
Yeah, no, it's fine. It's fine.
You don't need to figure it out.
You're right. I don't.
You don't need to figure it out.
It makes sense when you don't think about it, right?
Okay, so a couple things. Anakin's turn happens absurdly fast, and it's kind of unearned from an audience perspective if we're basing solely on what's in the movies. Now, if you've watched all of Clone Wars, you've spent a ton more time with this character with much better writing, and you've seen things along the way that could lead to his greater distrust of the council, like the way they treated Ahsoka, for example. Her getting kicked out and refusing to come back probably sits with them, but we can't mention her in the movies. I don't know why, but
because she didn't exist yet.
I was going to say she didn't exist.
To somebody she did. Maybe
is she?
Maybe
I'm sure she was.
Probably kicking around in Dave
existed.
Filoni's mind. Yeah.
Well, that's exactly what it is. Is that you can't mention, and that's one of those things that it's always a hard thing when they introduce a better character or a better something that occurred after the fact, and you're like, well, why doesn't that character? Wasn't anyone ever reference that person? Well, because in reality they didn't exist yet.
Right. So that's a major retcon, but in hindsight, it just makes everybody in this movie just look like they're stupid, which maybe they are. Speaking of stupid, the Jedi Council, in this movie, they know Palpatine is suspicious. They even say at one point, the dark side of the Force surrounds the Chancellor. Right. They say that out loud before Anakin, finally realizes or Palpatine admits it to him. That's a thing they say out loud and don't act on it. They keep him in power, and they send Anakin, who they admittedly don't trust because of how close he is, to spy on him.
Right.
Like, that isn't, it's so incredibly stupid. I can't even, come up with the words for that. Like, what did they think was going to happen? Order 66, it works way too well. There's no hesitation. There's no questions. There's a really good Clone Wars episode about one of the clones that like malfunctions and starts to like do Order 66 too soon. Really good episode.
So good.
Yeah, but that's the best thing to come out of the whole Order 66 thing is a totally unrelated piece of media.
Execute Order 66.
So the movie wants us devastated for all of these like fallen Jedi, but it hasn't earned that devastation because we don't care about any of these characters because they're not written with enough depth or emotion, or we don't spend enough time with them to care whatsoever. We're told we should care, but we don't because the movie and this whole trilogy doesn't earn it. It's only made slightly better when you have the greater context of 7 seasons of the Clone Wars. But even then, it's like you get a lot more time with Anakin and Obi-Wan. You don't get a ton of time with a lot of these other Jedi. So like you see them be killed, and it's like, oh well, there goes Plo Koon, I guess.
Right.
Or
yeah,
you know,
it just
doesn't
even
mean
Mace
anything.
Windu. Even Mace Windu, it's like, really, cool. It's if it wasn't Samuel L. Jackson, would I have given a crap about that character dying? And did I even?
No.
I don't think so.
But then I think my biggest, maybe not the biggest flaw, but a big flaw is the final battle between Anakin and Obi-Wan. It goes on for so long that it becomes uninteresting.
So good, though.
It's great at the beginning, but the more it goes on, the more ridiculous it gets. And it's just, it loses any emotion that you have tied to those characters. Like they should have kept it in like an enclosed space where they couldn't escape. Like, because like the more grand it becomes, it's like, this is not even a fight anymore. Like they're swinging off the thing as it's going over the lava fall. Right. And then after all of that, it ends because Obi-Wan's like 5 feet higher on a hill. Like after all of that, like all these crazy flips and things we've seen them do. And that's how it ends.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, just talk about anticlimactic to me. Yeah. The best part about that is when it was over.
Okay. I disagree with you.
That's fine.
I totally disagree with you because
that's totally fine.
Revenge of the Sith is the prequel that works of the three.
Okay, I will say it is above the other 2 prequels for me, but that's not saying much.
Okay. Well, this is the one movie that like I very much have a deep connection with. This I remember going to the theater, seeing this movie so many times. Like it was the one that my grandpa took me to. It was a great movie for me when I was a kid. But like aside from that, like looking at it now, the fact that like the story is now hitting very, very hard and it's setting up the original trilogy. Granted, it has holes, fair, but like Anakin falls to the dark side, Padme dies, Jedi are killed and destroyed. It's finally now that the prequels are feeling like they're serious, right? Like the other 2 are kind of a joke. This one's serious. Anakin struggles with the dark side, and fear for Padme's death. Obi-Wan's heartbreak at the end, the manipulation Palpatine has. I mean, for me, I actually cared about what was going on. Only with that group of characters, right? Outside of that, really have no idea, like you were saying, Tyler. But like the characters that mattered in the movie, I actually were like it finally felt like they were real people, and that probably should have been done in the first movie, but like we're there now. Obi-Wan versus Anakin is amazing on Mustafar. The opening space battle was it caught me off guard the first time I saw it, and even now when I go back and watch it, I'm like, all right, we're just jumping right in. Got it. General Grievous has really no story in the movie, but he's there for whatever reason. And then
because they needed a leader on the other side.
Right. And then but like right from the very beginning, Palpatine tells Anakin to like kill Dooku. Like that, like right away from the beginning, like you're already seeing Anakin like I shouldn't, and then he does. So like it's like already picking up. Yeah, I mean this one for me is like finally we got Darth Vader. It all makes sense now, and everything from here is now standing on the foundation that is Revenge of the Sith.
Seems like a faulty foundation.
I mean, 4, 5, and 6.
Well, but okay, we're not going to get into those
no,
yet.
No, but still, like it's there. Like,
so you mean to tell me? So there's 19 years roughly that pass between 3 and 4, and they tied up everything in a way that's supposed to make us think that literally nothing happens in 19 years.
No, that's
like
not.
3PO is on that ship with Captain Antilles, and Luke is where he's supposed to be. Leia is where she's supposed to be. That's just it. And then like Yoda disappears, and literally nothing changes for 19 years is what we're supposed to believe at the end of this movie.
They build the Death Star.
Right. So like there's that. Like we know the things that are going to happen.
No, I agree with you though. I'm not actually disagreeing with you at all. I think that 19 years is just like, yeah, it's weird. It's a weird. Go ahead.
They didn't have to tell us what was going to happen. Like, cause we're like, oh, we know. Like that is one of the beautiful things about having the prequel trilogy is we know where it's going, and it can only go one way. That's why, like, and I know this is a total sidecar, but like when they did the Obi-Wan series, well, we already know how that has to end, right?
Yeah.
Like there can't be a big battle between Obi-Wan and Darth Vader, and we be on the edge of our seats because we know, like it's not like
Something
you know what I
has to
mean.
happen.
Like we know that that's going to happen that way, and it's the same thing here. Like we know about Luke, we know about Leia, we know about all of that, the Death Star, Vader, Palpatine supposedly doesn't die. But like all these things, we know that's going to happen. So they don't really have to tell us much. It's just this is the start to something that's coming. And that is the one beautiful thing. And like that's also like the really beautiful thing about episode 3 is it does tie in episode 4 very well. Granted, there's a lot that happens between 3 and 4 in those 19 years, 100%. But like we see Luke and Leia, we see the birth of Vader, and now it's all right. We're now we know why this guy's so terrifying.
Yeah, I just go back to like we don't care as much about his fall because he's written in a way that doesn't like bring the audience with him, and that goes back into episode 2. It's like we're supposed to feel so bad, for, their tragic romance and, her dying right after childbirth and all this stuff. But like, they're not written in a way that brings us along. They're just written like 2 cardboard cutouts. Like Lucas, it's clear his strength is not writing dialogue.
No,
right.
It really isn't.
He's really good at
and these yeah, and then these movies are the result of somebody who had, to use Palpatine, his quote, but unlimited power in that system. Like literally no one could say no or stop him, be like, George, this doesn't make sense. And because he was just all powerful at this point. Which, I guess he kind of earned, but I mean, and we will get into this more when we talk about the original trilogy. That original trilogy did not succeed because of George.
You're right.
The start of it did, but it became something else almost in spite of George. But this one, all of these movies is just, he had a bunch of yes men around him, and this is the result. Where like he could have had like a story treatment, handed it to a better writer like a Lawrence Kasdan or somebody else, and they probably could have done something with it.
That would have
been cool.
Which is exactly what happened with Empire, and then later with Jedi. Is he had like the story outline, and then some actual like script writers came in and made it what it became. He didn't want to do that with this one, and that's fine, but it kind of makes me wonder, is there an alternate universe where we have like a Lawrence Kasdan version of Phantom Menace? Like, what does that look like?
That would have been funny. That would have been good.
Oh my God, that would be crazy.
Yeah, it could have been something so much better, but yeah. But we got one more to talk about, don't we?
Right. Well, needless to say, like 3 goes above 1 and 2. That's just where Yeah, that's where I put it.
I'll agree with you there, but I'm getting the feeling you have 3 a whole lot higher overall than I do.
We're not going to talk about that right now. We'll talk about that later.
Like that's the case.
All right.
All right. Well, we have one more movie to talk about, and it is the kind of like the original Space Cowboy. I mean, lack of a better term. We're going to talk some Solo, Charlie. Let's get your thoughts on Solo.
I had to rewatch Solo again today.
Really?
Because it was one of those. Well, I had just watched. I haven't gotten all the way through the 7, 8, and 9 yet, which I'll have to do soon. But I wanted to kind of, I don't know, give my brain like a fresh look at it, because I don't think that I gave it kind of a fair shake when I watched it the first time. I was like, what is even happening in this movie? This is just like, okay, I don't buy this guy as Han Solo. I'm like, okay, this is just, I didn't love it. But I enjoyed it today. I did enjoy it. I thought it was fun. I think that there's certainly some plot holes and some weirdness throughout. I think him, finding out how he became Han Solo is interesting. It's good to know how he came by that name. Do we ever actually learn his true last name, or did he just not have one?
We have no idea.
We don't know.
Yeah, we have no idea.
Okay. I didn't think I missed it, but like I wanted to make sure that I didn't miss something while watching that movie. I thought Lando was really well played. I thought that obviously Chewie is just Chewie and is awesome everywhere. It's just a thing,
It's true.
I mean, I don't know. You can't see Chewie over my. Well, you might be able to see Chewie over my shoulder in a different view than what I have. But I enjoyed it. I thought that there were some, I mean, unfortunate nitrous scene where they took the what was the fuel called that they injected into the I don't even remember exactly what it was, but basically they put it into the engine and it got them to come out of that wormhole.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so it was super cool scene.
That's when they did that.
But I saw that
Kessel Run. Right?
I saw that in
Kessel,
Fast and the Furious.
Yeah, it was the Kessel. That was when they did the Kessel Run.
Yep. Yeah, and it was great. It was very cool. I was happy to see the Kessel Run, and having Woody Harrelson in the movie. I mean, he's great, but he mostly plays a similar character in most of the things that he does. So I kind of expected what you run into toward the end of that movie, where he's going to betray you. It's going to be a thing that happens.
It's coaxium.
We should know that because that's right out of Smuggler's Run.
Right. I was like,
we did get to steal some out of Smuggler's Run. But I mean, overall, you get the Crimson Dawn, right?
Yep.
You get the Crimson Dawn. You get the Darth Maul scene at the end. Thought that was very cool. I'm very excited to have a Darth Maul series. I'm a little nervous about it, but I'm hoping that they're going to actually do some justice to it and take some of the development that we got during Rebels and really bring that to the forefront. But for this movie, I would say that it was slightly higher than episode 2 and episode 1. And I may have to revisit like what my actual ranking is for episode 3, because episode 3 and episode 1 weren't that like they weren't so far above each other that I couldn't be swayed by the conversation that we just had.
Sure.
But I think it's probably right below where I'm going to put episode 3 at this point. So, but I enjoyed it. I again, this was the third time that I've given it a chance. The first 2 times I wasn't able to keep my attention on the movie and didn't focus, and all of a sudden the movie was over and I was like, what the hell just happened? This is over now. Where today I focused, I watched it, and I was like, okay, I get what we were going for here, and I buy him. There were some lines where he just like he nailed the affect and like almost the accent that Han Solo had in the later
Harrison
movies.
Ford.
The Harrison Ford. Jeez Louise. I told you I don't have my name recall, especially since it's 11:30 at night here in the East Coast. But Harrison Ford, he just nailed some of those things. And I was like, oh, I see. Okay, I see you there. I see you there. I like this. Okay, I can see where you're going to turn into this old crotchety, a smuggler later in life. I can see it happening. And you'll be best friends with Chewie.
Okay.
Because why wouldn't you want to be best friends with Chewie?
Walking carpet.
Yeah. True statement. Walking carpet.
Go, Tyler.
All right. Okay. Do you guys know the backstory, like when they were making this movie about the director change and all that?
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah, it didn't it?
Yeah,
it
so originally, I forget their first names, but it's Lord and Miller, who were the guys behind the Lego movie.
Mm-hmm.
They were the original directors for it, and they were replaced because apparently the studio did not like the tone of the movie that they were shooting, that it was a lot more kind of wacky and almost like comedic and just leaning into like the weird side of Star Wars. So they react to that by reworking the script and bringing in Ron Howard, who is a competent enough director, but he is basically just going to do what the studio wants him to do. He is just there as like a mouthpiece for the executives. So what they did was turn out a movie that feels like it was made by a committee. And here are my points. So committee sits down and they say, what do we know about Han Solo from the existing movies that we have? He has the Millennium Falcon. He has a best friend in Chewie. He shoots first. And he plays cards. He's a scoundrel. He's a gambler. All of these things. So they treat the movie almost like a video game where he has to go through and it's like he's like unlocking achievements along the way. So we see it. And then how long do we think this movie takes the place over like the course of is like a few weeks maybe?
Yeah, sure. It seems like it.
So let's just say, we'll be generous, say it takes place over 6 months. So he gets his entire personality that we know for the rest of this franchise in the span of a 6-month window. He gets his name, he gets his best friend, he gets his ship, he gets betrayed by who he thought was the love of his life, which leads him down this other path. It just feels like it was a little bit too safe in that way. However, I do like a lot of the choices that they made because I feel like they did keep some of the kind of weirdness of it. The opening kind of action sequence, the chase through Corellia was really cool. Seeing like the underground like crime syndicate that he's working for there, I thought was really cool. But then everything after that is just beat by beat. It's like we have to get him everything we know about him. We have to check off these boxes. I will say the actor, Alden Ehrenreich, I think his name is. Right. I thought he did pretty well with the material that he was given. It didn't feel like he was doing an impression. So there were like certain things that came through, like you said, Charlie, where it's like, okay, you can see there's a little bit of what we know later on is peeking through. Donald Glover felt like he was doing a Billy D. Williams impression, but I'm not mad about it. Like,
no, it was.
I thought it worked. Oh, and then the other thing, Lando's droid, who I forget her name,
L3,
but L3, social justice droid,
L337.
Yeah, just a bit too much, and they definitely implied that the droid and Lando did some stuff. Yeah, yeah. So it's a fun movie, but ultimately kind of unnecessary. Yeah, and it's like it's just like we're ticking boxes to get Han to where we know he has to be.
Right.
And it just seemed like a little bit of a stretch to get all of these things in such a short amount of time. I almost think that would have been better if they did like a mini series, kind of like Obi-Wan, and then you make him earn that stuff over a longer period of time. And then you get to spend more time with the character and you can see how he grows or why he doesn't trust certain people. And it just felt so rushed and condensed. But ultimately, I do have this stacked above all the prequels.
Yeah. Wait, you have it stacked above?
Yes.
Above 3.
Okay.
Above 3. Yep.
Okay. Okay. I mean, for me, Solo is fun, but also kind of meh. And that, like you said, it kind of comes back to like the studio tamed it down. They didn't like the direction that it was going, which is why it feels a little bit uneven. I mean, we do get a fresh take on this guy Han, and get a little bit of his backstory. I don't think they needed to do all of the backstory in one go, and for whatever reason they did. Honestly, like, I was okay with the movie. I was like, yeah, whatever. I've only seen it once, maybe twice, ever since it's been out. And the only part that was memorable to me was at the end when Maul shows up, and I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, like now
the teaser that will lead to nowhere.
Right. Oh, and that's just it. Like when I saw that, I went, that's interesting. What is that? Like, where's that going? I'm interested in that. Are we gonna get a Han and a Maul thing? Is that gonna happen? Like, that's what I was thinking, right?
Oh, that'd be a hell of a thing.
It would
They could do it. They could totally do it
because
Han could show up.
Right.
Because they literally go right up to like basically handing him off to being on Tatooine. So it's like there's nowhere else for his character to go.
Right.
But I mean, there's so much potential because, like, you know, he says the line, like, I've been from one side of this galaxy to the other, seen a lot of strange stuff.
Right.
That's a whole series right there.
Right. 100%.
Like, fill in the blanks right there. You don't have to do everything that we know. Because like you said before, it's like we know where he's going to end up, but let's just have like a fun little, like, I don't know, 6-episode miniseries of just like Han gets into a mess with some kind of, like, whether it's the Hutts or somebody else, like, I don't know, like,
doesn't
there's
matter.
a huge galaxy out there.
Right.
Like,
it
you
doesn't
can
matter.
figure something out in the hands of a good writer and a studio that's willing to take some chances. Right. We can make that work, but they just played it so safe.
Right. I was just gonna say that. I was like, the problem that they have with Solo is that they played it too safe. For me, Solo is below 3 and above 1 and 2.
Okay. I think that's fair.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Yeah, based on everything you said about episode 3, I think
love 3.
That makes sense.
I love 3. 3's so good.
That makes a lot of sense to me.
Where would you have Solo, Charlie?
So I either had it above all 3 of them or below, above 1 and 2 and below 3.
Gotcha.
So either the same as you or the same as Tyler. I'm not. I can't. Because I just watched it today. Like, I have a hard time really ranking. So when I sit down to, like, you know, I'll prick my finger a little bit and actually, like, take out a quill and put it in blood onto a paper. That'll be something where I have to, like, make those decisions. So when we have our final episode,
right,
of this trilogy,
the trilogy,
that'll be when it
is a trilogy,
of trilogies. That'll be when I really kind of make those decisions. Because again, I can't be trusted to make a decision based on what I just witnessed today.
Sure.
And I couldn't watch episode 3 and that today.
Sure. No, so I agree. And that's the beautiful thing about going this format. This list can shift, right? Like, we might change minds. You know, like,
not changing my mind.
No, Tyler, you're pretty like,
I made my list when we first had this idea like 2 months ago. I literally opened a note and put my list down, and it has not changed one bit.
No, I have.
Why would it?
I have my list, and one of my things has been changed, and I went, that's a good point. I'm going to change that. So we'll have to see how it all plans out in the next few episodes here. But
coming up next will be the original trilogy.
Well, that,
you know,
right. That's
I think we'll have a lot more positive things to say in that episode.
I don't know. We'll see what.
There's some things.
We'll see what happens.
There's some things.
There's a lot of things.
There's some things.
There's a lot of things. Our next episode is going to be the original trilogy, and Rogue One.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And we're going to start with Rogue One because that's timeline.
Yep. That's where it is.
Because we can only start where we should always start, and that's the beginning, right? In order. We got to go boop, 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 and we're there.
Not if you're watching for the first time.
Yeah, well, we could discuss that at a later time. If you're not watching for the first time. But that wraps up our rankings for tonight. Be sure to join us next week as we continue on this Star Wars adventure with the original trilogy. If you enjoyed this episode, please like, follow, subscribe on Instagram, YouTube, the TikTokies, all the places podcasts can be found. We're on all of them. I promise. You can find us at the Grim Grinning Dads. Also, if you'd like us to help you plan a vacation, we are travel advisors. We're part of a group of travel advisors. If you want us to plan any sort of vacation for you, Disney or beyond, please fill out the form in the description, send us an email, message us on any of our socials. We'd be happy to do that. Don't miss next week when the dads come out to socialize.